The year is 1845. The morning mist clung to Boston Harbor, a city on the cusp of change, its cobblestone streets bustling with merchants and seafarers. Yet a different breed of travelers stirred in its heart, families, their faces etched with a mix of trepidation and anticipation, gathered at the docks. They were leaving behind the familiar comforts of the East Coast, lured by the promise of vast lands and new beginnings in the distant Texas. The air was thick with a blend of salt spray and the sweet aroma of wood smoke from nearby homes. Children clutched their mothers' skirts, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement as they watched the bustling activity around them. These were the pioneers, driven by a spirit of adventure and a hunger for a better life. They carried with them all their worldly possessions, packed carefully into sturdy wooden wagons, seeds for planting, tools for building, heirlooms from the old world, each item a testament to their hopes and dreams. As the sun rose higher, casting long shadows across the cobblestones, the pioneers bid farewell to their beloved Boston. Tears were shed, promises whispered, the echoes of their goodbyes swallowed by the cries of gulls circling overhead. They boarded their wagons, their wheels stirring up dust from the well-worn path, and embarked on a westward journey into the unknown. Their destination, Texas, a land still wild and untamed, a world away from the bustling port city they left behind. The journey ahead promised hardship and uncertainty, yet these pioneers embraced the unknown, their hearts filled with a mix of apprehension and unwavering resolve. They carried within them the indomitable spirit of their forefathers, the same spirit that had carved settlements from the wilderness and built a nation on the shores of a new world. As the last wagon disappeared into the distant horizon, the city they left behind seemed to hold its breath, watching their progress, a silent witness to the beginning of their extraordinary journey. The trail west was a harsh mistress. Stretching over 2,000 miles, it snaked its way across unforgiving terrain. The pioneers, accustomed to the rolling hills and fertile valleys of the east, found themselves confronted by the daunting expanse of the American heartland. Forests gave way to endless prairies, the land seeming to stretch forever under a sky that dwarfed all they knew. The sheer scale of the wilderness was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. Days bled into weeks, each sunrise a testament to their resilience. The pioneers settled into a grueling routine, their lives dictated by the rhythm of the trail. They rose before dawn, the air thick with the scent of dew-covered grass and wood smoke. Wagons were packed, livestock tended to, and breakfast, often little more than stale bread and watery coffee, was hastily consumed. With the sun a fiery orb on the horizon, the wagon train would lurch forward, the creaking of wooden wheels a constant soundtrack to their journey. The pioneers faced a relentless barrage of challenges. The weather was unpredictable, with scorching sun one day and bone-chilling storms the next. The terrain was often treacherous, with rocky outcrops, muddy swamps, and steep ravines testing the limits of their endurance and their wagons. Yet they pressed on, their determination fueled by the glimmer of hope that lay at the end of their arduous journey. Each mile covered, each obstacle overcome, strengthened their resolve, forging a bond of camaraderie and shared purpose amongst them. They found solace in their shared dreams, in the stories told around flickering campfires under a canopy of stars. The vastness of the prairie, the silence of the plains, served as a constant reminder of their own mortality, yet also ignited within them a profound appreciation for the resilience of the human spirit. The pioneers, these ordinary men, women, and children, were proving themselves to be extraordinary in their courage and their unwavering belief in a future brighter than the hardships they faced each day. The wagons, their lifeline in this untamed land, were often the first to succumb to the rigors of the journey. Months of constant wear and tear took their toll. Wheels dried and brittle from the relentless sun, cracked and splintered under the strain. Axles snapped with a sound like a gunshot, leaving the wagon crippled and its occupants stranded. The pioneers, forced to become adept at makeshift repairs, would gather around the stricken vehicle, their faces grim as they assessed the damage. Men, their hands calloused and strong, would swing axes and wield hammers, the air filled with the clang of metal on wood. Women, their ingenuity born of necessity, would mend torn canvas and stitch together makeshift harnesses from salvaged leather. Children, their young eyes observing every detail, learned the harsh realities of frontier life, their childhoods tempered by the constant threat of danger and the need for resourcefulness. The loss of a wagon was a devastating blow. It represented more than just a mode of transport. It carried their hopes, their dreams, their very survival. Foodstuffs, carefully preserved for the journey, could be ruined. Precious heirlooms lost to the elements. Yet, even in the face of such setbacks, the pioneers persevered. They shared what little they had, their sense of community deepening with each challenge they faced. The broken wagon, once a symbol of despair, became a testament to their collective spirit. Neighbors helped neighbors, their shared hardship forging bonds of friendship and loyalty that would last a lifetime. The trail, in its own unforgiving way, was teaching them the true meaning of resilience, the importance of unity in the face of adversity. The pioneers were not alone in this vast wilderness. The land they traversed was already home to Native American tribes, each with their own customs and traditions, their lives inextricably linked to the ebb and flow of the natural world. These encounters, often fraught with tension and misunderstanding, were an unavoidable aspect of the westward expansion. For the pioneers, these encounters were a stark reminder that they were entering a world vastly different from their own. Some tribes, recognizing the inevitability of the westward migration, chose to avoid contact, melting away into the vastness of the plains. Others, wary of these newcomers and their encroachment on their ancestral lands, viewed the pioneers with suspicion and hostility. The language barrier often exacerbated these tensions, leading to misunderstandings. that could easily escalate into conflict. Yet there were also moments of peaceful exchange, of shared meals and traded goods. The pioneers, many of whom had never encountered a culture so different from their own, learned to navigate these interactions with a mix of caution and respect. They came to appreciate the deep connection the Native Americans had to the land, their knowledge of the terrain and its secrets proving invaluable at times. These encounters, whether peaceful or fraught with tension, served as a powerful reminder that the westward expansion was not a journey into an empty wilderness. It was a complex and often tragic collision of cultures, a clash between two worlds that would forever alter the landscape of the American West. Disease, a constant specter on the trail, was a cruel and indiscriminate foe. Cholera, dysentery, typhoid fever, these invisible killers stalked the wagon trains, preying on the weak and the weary. The cramped living conditions, coupled with poor sanitation and limited access to clean water, created a breeding ground for disease. A simple cough could quickly escalate into a life-threatening illness, and even minor injuries, if not properly treated, could turn septic and deadly. The pioneers lived in constant fear of an outbreak. The sight of a wagon flying a yellow flag, the universal sign for illness, would send a chill through the entire train. Quarantine, however necessary, was a lonely and terrifying experience for the afflicted. Mothers tended to sick children, their faces etched with worry, while fathers struggled to maintain hope in the face of such suffering. Death, a constant companion on the trail, cast a long shadow over the journey. Graves, often marked with nothing more than a simple wooden cross or a pile of stones, became grim reminders of the fragility of life on the frontier. The loss of a loved one, especially a child, was a devastating blow, made all the more poignant by the harsh realities of their surroundings. Yet even in the face of such heartbreak, the pioneers found the strength to continue. They drew comfort from their faith, their shared grief forging an unbreakable bond of resilience. The trail, in its own unforgiving way, was teaching them the preciousness of life and the enduring power of the human spirit to find hope even in the darkest of times.